Your favorite villain?
My favorite villain? I kind of like Diddy.
When people say I'm a troll, I say,
I don't know why you're saying I'm trolling people. I'm doing what you've conditioned me to.
What if the villain you've been warned about isn't the one pulling all the strings? And what if the loudest troll in the room is actually telling you exactly what he sees? That's the contradiction at the center of this story. Because when 50 Cent says he kind of likes Diddy, people laugh. But then he drops a documentary that flips admiration into suspicion, and suddenly nobody's laughing.
I just want to say, I know a lot of people want to hear these stories and everything like that, because this is stuff that happened back in the day. And then maybe that if they knew there was going to ever be a YouTube, or they knew there was going to ever be social media, a lot of the stuff probably wouldn't have got played out like it did. But things happen, and these are just stories from the past. I would like to use that as, what you call that, just to clear the facts up what's going on. But it all started, we was in Atlanta. And this story starts when I'm with Puff, and he's in exotic bookstores, and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that, because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, you know, he got to go put it on the counter and, you know, show everybody what he's getting. So as he's going, I'm just looking at the places where he's picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I was like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there, and it said butt plugs. And I was like, hey, yo, I was messing with him, because people don't understand, you know, we was like friends. He was a part of the same gang. So I'm still going to tease him. I'm still going to mess with him and everything like that. I could do that. It wasn't just no security thing. So I say, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs. And he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. And when he got to, I just waited at the counter. When he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like, he gave the guy a stack, something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like, he just said, boom. And we walked out the...
Here's where it gets interesting. For years, the image of Diddy and Burna Boy looked like power meeting power. A Grammy win for Twice as Tall, a co-sign that felt global, a photo that once symbolized unity. But timing changes everything. As Diddy's legal issues became public, confirmed investigations, reported lawsuits, and statements from attorneys, the same image started to feel different. Not proof of guilt, not proof of innocence, just different. And that shift, that's what 50 Cent leans into.
North Carolina for a show. You understand? And it was him, this rapper, Sarah, and this other girl. We all got on a G5 jet, and we flew to G4 jet, and we flew to North Carolina. So later on that, I think that afternoon, same day, this rapper and him, they all in the room together. You know, it's Sarah, the girl, Puff, and this dude, this rapper. So I'm here at the door and stuff like that. Like, yeah. So then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door, and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? And he said, Ja Rule. I said, well, he busy right now. He said, he busy doing what? I said, he with Puff. They're in the room. They busy. They don't want to be bothered. He said, well, I'm going in there. I said, bruh, you ain't going in there, because he told me they don't want nobody to be bothering them. And he was like, yo, I don't care, man. I'm going in there. That bull like that. I said, yo, bruh, Jesus Christ had to come down here and take the air out of my body before you get in that room right there. Watch. He tried to bum rush me. I grabbed him and threw him against the piano. When I threw him into the piano, Puff and Ja Rule runs out the room. Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked. And so then Ja was like, yo, what's going on? Yo, G, that's my cousin. He know me well, and Puff was like, yo, G, what happened? I said, he tried to get in the room. I told him he couldn't get in the room. And he was like, Puff looked at Ja. He said, yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room because there's a lot of freaking going on. So I was like, oh, he said it was a lot of going on. So that was basically that story, man. You know what I'm saying? They went back in the room. Dude felt a certain kind of way, and he left out. So I seen them at the concert the next day, and they tried to, form up against me. But my man Frank was like, I told my man Frank, I was like, yo, Frank, put yourself in that position. Somebody trying to get in the room, and Ja told you don't let nobody get in the room. What would you do? Now, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, man, but I ain't taking no losses. He said, yo, you good, and that was it. Bruh, when Ja said, you don't want to come up and...
Now let's rewind. One of the most talked about stories involves a trip, a jet, a hotel suite, and a moment that, depending on who you ask, was either harmless chaos or something more layered. The account, told publicly, describes being asked to guard a door. Someone tries to enter. A physical altercation follows. Towels, confusion, laughter afterward. It's presented like an outrageous memory from the past. But here's the part people miss. When old stories resurface during new legal scrutiny, they stop sounding random. They start sounding strategic.
It's crazy, bruh. So now, you think certain politicians, you think certain actors, actresses, they drinking, smoking, we know they love pink cocaine. You know they got weed all in the air. They dropping ecstasy pills. They dropping some other kind of sexual pill. Man, do you think he ain't got nobody on tape, bruh? So now, can y'all go get those tapes? If he was blackmailing Cassie and Cassie's mother had to give him $20,000 for her tapes allegedly, you think he ain't bribing nobody else? Or people ain't worried about that that they got to do business with him because they know what they did at the Diddy party? So those tapes was important. And the federal government, when they showed some of the stuff that was happening in there, you could see the jury cringing. So it was easy for them to come back.
And then the leaked tape rumors, alleged footage, alleged settlements, claims that certain recordings existed, some used in court, others reportedly seized but not publicly released. Important detail. Much of this remains alleged or disputed, and not everything has been proven in court. But once federal authorities execute raids and confirm they've taken electronics and storage devices, the public fills in the blanks. That's human nature. And 50? He doesn't fill in blanks directly. He asks questions. Why take everything? Why log certain evidence and not others? Why settle fast?
With those charges for the sex offenses, or the prostitution for selling and promoting prostitution, it was easy for them to come back with that. Listen to him. Y'all heard the same thing that I heard. When they raided his house, y'all saw the same thing I saw. They took computers, tapes. You think wasn't nothing on those tapes, y'all? You think they didn't log those tapes? Why did they, hold up. Yo, I just caught a jewel. They used the tape that Cassie sent them, that Cassie had. They used the tape that Cassie had that they showed to the jurors. Why do you think they didn't use the tape that they got from Diddy house? Because that would have them had to log that in. It would have been public record. And at one given time, when it's a public record out of this trial, you could go see it. You could go get those tapes, copies of those tapes.
That's where the Burna Boy angle gets messy. Because while Diddy was facing mounting legal pressure, Burna stayed mostly silent. And in today's social media climate, silence isn't neutral. It's suspicious. A diss track from Speed Darlington called Baby Oil throws gasoline on the moment. A reported car incident in Lagos raises tensions. His mother publicly calls for calm. None of it directly ties back in a proven way. But perception doesn't wait for proof. And once fans sense smoke, they start hunting for fire.
Do they take the massage oil with them when they go? No. They just walk out to people who are being arrested. If you ever seen a person getting arrested and the people being arrested in those brothel houses, do they take out the stuff in the brothel houses? No, they don't. They take the individuals who are being arrested out the brothel houses. For them to take 1,000 bottles of baby oil, it's like that they did not leave one. They left people there, but they ain't leave not one bottle. Nobody needed no baby oil. So my whole thing about it is that there was something in that other than baby oil. That's why they took all the bottles. And 9 times out of 10, if I would give it a wild guess, it was, and like some of the people told me, it was probably that GHB.
What's that?
I think it's gamma hydrox. I looked it up, bro. Let me see. See if I can find it. I know this is just showing everything like that, but oh no. Let me. Yo, somebody tap dance or sing or do something, you know what I'm saying, while I'm doing this. Oh, here it go right here. It's gamma hydroxy butyrate.
Now add the cocktail rumors. Claims, again alleged, that substances were mixed inside ordinary-looking bottles. Speculation about party environments, about who knew what, about who recorded what. No confirmed lab results released publicly. No verified ingredient lists. Just conversations amplified online. But when authorities remove large quantities of items from a property, people ask why. And 50's commentary doesn't answer, it provokes. He frames it as logic. If it was nothing, why take it? If it was something, what was it?
See, though, we didn't have no weird shit like that going on around us. I wouldn't have known about no pills or no special oil in the baby oil and stuff like that, you know? People been talking about that lately. See how people lately been talking about in the interview, how there was some, I think it was some horse, what they call it, the stuff that they put horse and make down, some type of heart tranquilizer that's put in no baby oil bottles. Y'all think it was just baby oil, y'all? Are y'all that stupid? Do y'all know it was more shit in those bottles of oils? That was just a cover up. Y'all don't realize that there was other stuff in those bottles that made people either go to sleep or get freaky or get horny or something in those bottles that's getting tested. It's not illegal to have baby oil in your house. Why the hell would the police take baby oil? What's illegal about some baby oil? Are y'all that stupid? It's shit that's mixed in that baby oil. Or in no baby oil bottles. That's how concerned, y'all. Come on, y'all. And these bodyguards keep talking about it. They better shut up. They better shut up. Y'all need to go in there and tell them, stop. But no, Jay Prince ain't had nothing. Jay Prince ain't had nothing to do with this shit. Jay Prince not a rat, y'all. I don't know. We talk about executives. Somebody asked me in the comment section, what black executive it appears that don't do anything weird. The only person I could think of was Babyface. Maybe L.A. Reid. You haven't heard too much about him. And Babyface. You know, they might have, some people will say they beat him out some money and stuff like that. But I don't think Jay Prince a snitch. I'm not one to do all of that. What Suge and maybe even Wack 100 have said about Jay Prince. He seemed to be solid to me. He talk a little tougher than what.
Then comes the alleged post, reportedly linked to Diddy, implying credit for Burna Boy's Grammy success. Whether authentic or not, the damage was immediate because credibility is fragile. Even an unverified claim can reshape narrative. Suddenly, Burna's achievement wasn't about talent. It was about leverage, about influence, about strategy. That's a shift 50 Cent keeps circling. Fame isn't just earned, it's negotiated. And here's another layer. Conversations about blackmail, alleged payments to retrieve footage, questions about why certain evidence becomes public record while other materials remain sealed. To be clear, allegations are not convictions, but the public doesn't separate rumor from record very well. Once a federal case is underway, once juries are reportedly shown clips, once settlements happen quickly, speculation multiplies. What makes this documentary land isn't that it proves anything. It doesn't. It reframes. It suggests that partnerships in the music industry are rarely just about music, that alliances can be strategic, that silence can be protective or incriminating in the court of public opinion, and that when one giant stumbles, everyone connected feels a tremor. So now the question isn't just about Diddy's legal future or Burna Boy's reputation. Those will play out in courtrooms and public statements. The real question is about influence, about who benefits when alliances collapse, about whether this was coincidence or calculated distance before impact. Because in an industry where image is everything, sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't what's proven, it's what people start to believe. And if perception can elevate a Grammy win, can it also erase it?